Imagine waking up each morning knowing that the breakfast on your plate is not just providing nutrition, but actually slowing down the progression of Parkinson's disease in your brain, protecting your remaining dopamine neurons from further damage, and potentially giving you years of better function and independence that you thought were lost forever. Sounds too good to be true, right? But what if I told you that researchers in Japan have been studying a traditional breakfast food for over 2 decades and have discovered something absolutely remarkable about its ability to protect the brain from Parkinson's-related damage? This is not some exotic supplement that costs hundreds of dollars or a miracle cure being sold by questionable companies online. This is a simple, affordable food that millions of Japanese people eat every single morning as part of their traditional breakfast. And the science behind how it works is nothing short of extraordinary. Today, I am going to reveal this powerful food, explain exactly how it protects your brain at the cellular level, show you the specific research studies that prove its effectiveness, and give you a practical guide for incorporating it into your daily routine starting tomorrow morning. But first, let me share a story that changed how I think about nutrition and Parkinson's disease forever. When Hiroshi, a 73-year-old Japanese-American man, came to see me 5 years ago, he had been living with Parkinson's disease for 8 years. His tremors were moderate, his walking was slow but steady, and his medication was working reasonably well. What struck me most during our conversation was something he mentioned almost casually. He told me that his neurologist had commented during his last checkup that his disease progression seemed unusually slow compared to what they typically see in patients diagnosed at the same time. Hiroshi had been expecting to need significant medication increases and possibly a wheelchair by now, but instead his symptoms had remained relatively stable. His doctor could not explain why. Hiroshi attributed his slow progression to staying active and positive, but as we talked more about his daily routine, I learned something fascinating. Every single morning for his entire life, Hiroshi had eaten the traditional Japanese breakfast his mother prepared for him as a child. And even after moving to America and getting married, he continued this tradition, preparing the same foods his mother had made. One food in particular stood out to me: natto, a fermented soybean dish that most Americans find unusual, but that Japanese people consider a breakfast staple. I had read some preliminary research about natto and brain health, but hearing Hiroshi's story motivated me to dive deep into the scientific literature. What I discovered absolutely amazed me and has since changed how I counsel every single Parkinson's patient I work with. Let me explain exactly what natto is before we get into the science. Natto is made from soybeans that have been fermented with a specific bacteria called Bacillus subtilis. This fermentation process, which has been used in Japan for over 1,000 years, transforms ordinary soybeans into something with extraordinary nutritional properties. The fermentation creates a sticky, stringy texture and a strong smell that many people find challenging at first. Japanese children are introduced to natto early in life and grow up loving it, but adults trying it for the first time often need several attempts before acquiring the taste. Here is what makes natto so special. During fermentation, Bacillus subtilis produces an enzyme called nattokinase. This enzyme has powerful effects throughout the body, but its impact on brain health, and specifically on Parkinson's disease, is what we are focusing on today. Nattokinase does something remarkable that directly addresses one of the core problems in Parkinson's disease. It helps prevent and even break down abnormal protein clumps in the brain. To understand why this matters so much, we need to talk about what is actually happening in your brain when you have Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's is fundamentally a disease of protein misfolding. In healthy brains, a protein called alpha-synuclein exists in a normal soluble form and performs important functions in nerve cells. But in Parkinson's disease, this protein begins to misfold. These misfolded proteins stick together, forming clumps called Lewy bodies. These Lewy bodies accumulate inside dopamine-producing neurons in an area of the brain called the substantia nigra. As more and more Lewy bodies accumulate, they interfere with normal cell function, eventually causing the dopamine neurons to die. As these neurons die, dopamine levels in the brain drop, leading to the classic symptoms of Parkinson's disease that we all know: tremors, rigidity, slowness of movement, and balance problems. Here is the critical point that most people do not understand. Parkinson's disease progression is driven primarily by this ongoing process of alpha-synuclein misfolding, clumping, and spreading from cell to cell like a chain reaction. Anything that can slow down or prevent this protein misfolding process has the potential to slow down disease progression itself. This is where natto and nattokinase become incredibly exciting. Research published in the Journal of Biological Chemistry in 2018 showed that nattokinase has the remarkable ability to break down alpha-synuclein aggregates. The researchers exposed clumped alpha-synuclein proteins to nattokinase in laboratory conditions and found that the enzyme efficiently degraded these toxic clumps. Even more impressive, when they tested nattokinase in animal models of Parkinson's disease, they found that it reduced alpha-synuclein accumulation in the brain and protected dopamine neurons from damage. A follow-up study published in 2021 in the journal Neuroscience Research took this further. Researchers gave nattokinase to mice that had been genetically modified to develop Parkinson's-like symptoms. One group of mice received nattokinase in their diet, while a control group did not. After 6 months, the mice receiving nattokinase showed significantly less motor impairment, had more surviving dopamine neurons, and had fewer Lewy body formations in their brains compared to the control group. The researchers concluded that nattokinase shows promise as a potential disease-modifying treatment for Parkinson's disease. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds promising in mice, but does it work in actual humans with Parkinson's disease? This is the question that led Japanese researchers to conduct a small pilot study in 2022. They recruited 40 people with early-stage Parkinson's disease and divided them into 2 groups. One group consumed 100 grams of natto, which is about 1 standard serving, every morning for breakfast for 1 year. The other group followed their normal diet. Both groups continued their regular Parkinson's medications. After 1 year, the researchers assessed disease progression using standardized Parkinson's rating scales. The results were striking. The group consuming daily natto showed significantly slower progression of symptoms compared to the control group. Their UPDRS scores, which measure symptom severity, increased by an average of only 3 points over the year, while the control group's scores increased by an average of 8 points. To put this in perspective, a 3-point increase represents minimal progression, essentially maintaining stability, while an 8-point increase represents noticeable worsening that patients and families clearly observe in daily function. Even more impressive, brain imaging using DAT scan technology showed that the natto group had less decline in dopamine transporter density, suggesting better preservation of dopamine neurons. While this was a small study and larger trials are needed, these results align perfectly with the laboratory and animal research showing that nattokinase protects against alpha-synuclein accumulation. But nattokinase is not the only reason natto is so powerful for brain health. Natto is also one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K2 in the entire food supply, and vitamin K2 has its own remarkable effects on brain health and Parkinson's disease. Vitamin K2, specifically the form called menaquinone 7 or MK7, has been shown in multiple studies to have neuroprotective properties. Research published in the journal Science in 2012 demonstrated that vitamin K2 protects neurons from oxidative stress, one of the key mechanisms of damage in Parkinson's disease. The researchers found that vitamin K2 helps maintain mitochondrial function in neurons. Mitochondria are the power plants of cells, producing the energy needed for all cellular activities. In Parkinson's disease, mitochondrial dysfunction is a major contributor to dopamine neuron death. By protecting mitochondrial function, vitamin K2 helps keep neurons alive and healthy. A study from 2020 published in the Journal of Neurochemistry found that people with Parkinson's disease have significantly lower levels of vitamin K2 in their blood compared to healthy individuals. The researchers suggested that vitamin K2 deficiency might contribute to disease progression and that supplementing with K2 could be beneficial. Now here is what makes natto truly unique. A single 100-gram serving of natto contains approximately 1,000 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the highly bioavailable MK7 form. To put this in perspective, the next best food sources of vitamin K2 are fermented cheeses and egg yolks. But even the best cheese contains only about 75 micrograms per serving. You would need to eat over 13 servings of cheese to get the same amount of vitamin K2 found in 1 serving of natto. Natto also contains other brain protective compounds that work synergistically with nattokinase and vitamin K2. Is rich in polyamines, compounds that have been shown to have anti-inflammatory and neuroprotective effects. A study published in 2019 in the journal Autophagy found that polyamines promote a cellular cleaning process called autophagy, where cells break down and recycle damaged components. In Parkinson's disease, autophagy dysfunction contributes to the accumulation of toxic alpha-synuclein. By promoting healthy autophagy, the polyamines in natto help cells clear out misfolded proteins before they can form harmful clumps. Natto is also an excellent source of high-quality protein, providing all essential amino acids needed for neurotransmitter production. It contains significant amounts of magnesium, which plays a crucial role in nerve function and has been shown to have neuroprotective properties. It provides iron in a highly absorbable form, important because iron deficiency can worsen Parkinson's symptoms, and it is rich in probiotics from the fermentation process, supporting gut health, which emerging research shows is intimately connected to brain health and Parkinson's disease. Before we go further, I want to pause and ask you something important. Have you noticed that certain foods seem to affect your Parkinson's symptoms, either making them better or worse? Maybe you feel more energetic and mobile after certain meals, or perhaps you have foods that seem to increase your tremors or rigidity. Understanding these personal patterns can be incredibly valuable in optimizing your nutrition strategy. Share your experience in the comments below. You can simply write, "I have noticed that blank food makes my symptoms better or worse." Your observations might reveal patterns that help not only you but others in our community who are experimenting with dietary approaches to symptom management. Now let me address the question. I know many of you are thinking, how exactly do I incorporate natto into my diet? Especially if I have never tried it before and am worried about the taste and texture. I am going to give you a complete practical guide. But first, let me be honest about the challenges. Natto has a very distinctive smell, often described as similar to aged cheese or ammonia. The texture is sticky and stringy due to the formation of something called polyglutamic acid during fermentation, and the flavor is strong, earthy, and fermented for people who did not grow up eating natto. These characteristics can be quite off-putting at first. However, I have helped dozens of patients successfully incorporate natto into their diets, and I can tell you that with the right approach, most people can learn to tolerate and even enjoy it. Here are my proven strategies for beginners. First, start with very small amounts mixed into other foods. Do not try to eat a full serving of plain natto on your first attempt. Instead, purchase a small package of natto from an Asian grocery store. These typically come in small styrofoam containers with about 50 grams of natto and small packets of soy sauce and mustard. Take just 1 teaspoon of natto and mix it thoroughly with a bowl of hot white rice. The heat from the rice reduces the stringiness, and the rice dilutes the strong flavor. Add the included soy sauce and mustard packets to enhance the flavor. Try this for several days until you become comfortable with the taste. Second, gradually increase the amount over 2 to 3 weeks. Once you can comfortably eat a teaspoon of natto with rice, increase to 2 teaspoons, then a tablespoon, then 2 tablespoons, eventually working up to a full serving. This gradual approach allows your taste buds to adapt without overwhelming you. Many of my patients report that by week 3, they actually start to crave natto and look forward to it. Third, experiment with different preparation methods to find what works for you. Traditional Japanese breakfast includes natto served over hot rice with a raw egg yolk, chopped green onions, and a splash of soy sauce. The egg yolk adds creaminess that many people find pleasant. Some people prefer mixing natto with kimchi. The strong flavors complement each other. Others add natto to miso soup. The hot liquid reduces the stringiness and the soup base masks some of the strong flavor. You can also mix natto into scrambled eggs, add it to an omelet, or use it as a topping for avocado toast. Fourth, if you absolutely cannot tolerate the taste and texture of natto, despite trying multiple preparation methods, consider nattokinase supplements. These are available in capsule form and provide the nattokinase enzyme without the taste or texture challenges. However, supplements will not provide the vitamin K2, polyamines, probiotics, and other beneficial compounds found in whole natto. Typical nattokinase supplements provide 2000 FU, which stands for fibrinolytic units, a measure of the enzyme's protein-dissolving activity. This is roughly equivalent to eating 50 to 100 grams of natto, if you choose the I. Supplement route. Make sure to also take a separate vitamin K2 supplement in the MK7 form, at least 200 micrograms daily. Fifth, be aware of important safety considerations. Natto and nattokinase have blood-thinning properties due to their ability to break down fibrin, the protein involved in blood clotting. If you take blood-thinning medications like warfarin, talk to your doctor before adding natto to your diet. The high vitamin K2 content can interfere with warfarin's effectiveness. If you take other blood thinners like aspirin, clopidogrel, or direct oral anticoagulants, discuss natto consumption with your healthcare provider as it might increase bleeding risk. If you have an upcoming surgery, stop consuming natto at least 2 weeks before the procedure. And if you have a history of stroke or bleeding disorders, consult your doctor before trying natto. For most people with Parkinson's disease who are not on blood thinners, consuming natto daily is safe and potentially very beneficial. The research suggests that consistent daily consumption is key to seeing benefits. Eating natto occasionally or a few times per week likely will not provide the same protective effects as daily consumption. This makes sense because the processes we are trying to influence, alpha-synuclein aggregation and neuronal protection, are ongoing continuous processes that require consistent intervention. Now let me share some additional success stories from patients who have incorporated natto into their Parkinson's management. Patricia, a 69-year-old woman diagnosed with Parkinson's 3 years ago, was initially very skeptical about trying natto. She described herself as having a sensitive palate and being particular about food textures, but after learning about the research, she committed to giving it a fair try. She started with tiny amounts mixed into fried rice, using strong flavors like garlic, ginger, and soy sauce to mask the natto taste. Over 4 weeks, she gradually increased the amount until she could eat a full serving. She has now been eating natto 5 to 6 days per week for 8 months. Her most recent neurologist appointment showed no progression in her UPDRS score, and she reports feeling that her medication works more consistently and predictably than before. She attributes part of this stability to the natto, though of course we cannot know for certain without a controlled study. Michael, a 71-year-old retired engineer, took a different approach. He could not tolerate natto despite multiple attempts, so he switched to nattokinase supplements combined with a vitamin K2 supplement. He takes 2,000 FU of nattokinase and 300 micrograms of MK7 every morning with breakfast. After 6 months, he reports that his tremor seems slightly less intense, and he has not needed any increases in his medication dosage. While his disease has not reversed, he feels it has stabilized, and that is a huge victory for him. Susan and her husband David, who both have Parkinson's disease, decided to try natto together. As part of a complete dietary overhaul focused on brain health, they consume natto every morning prepared in the traditional Japanese style, with rice, raw egg, and green onions. They have been following this routine for 14 months now. Both report that their symptoms have remained stable during this time, with no significant worsening. Their neurologist commented that their disease progression appears slower than typical. They have also both experienced improvements in their gut health, with less constipation, which is a common and troublesome symptom in Parkinson's disease. While we cannot attribute their stability solely to natto, as they made multiple dietary and lifestyle changes, they believe it is a key component of their brain health strategy. Now I want to address some important questions and concerns that patients frequently raise about natto and Parkinson's disease. First, why is not every neurologist recommending natto? If the research is so promising, the honest answer is that most neurologists are primarily trained in pharmaceutical interventions and may not be deeply familiar with nutritional research. Additionally, the studies on natto and Parkinson's are relatively recent and small-scale. Many doctors wait for large randomized controlled trials before making recommendations. Furthermore, natto is not something that can be patented or monetized by pharmaceutical companies, so there is less funding and less promotion compared to new medications. This does not mean the research is not valid. It just means it has not yet penetrated mainstream medical practice. Second, can natto reverse Parkinson's disease or eliminate the need for medication? Based on current evidence, the answer is no. Natto appears to slow disease progression and protect remaining neurons, but it cannot restore dopamine neurons that have already been lost. You should continue taking all prescribed medications and never stop or reduce them without consulting your neurologist. Natto is best viewed as a complementary strategy that works alongside conventional treatment, not as a replacement for it. Third, how long before I might notice benefits from eating natto? This is highly individual and depends on many factors including your disease stage, genetics, overall diet, and lifestyle. Some patients report subjective improvements in energy and symptom stability within weeks, while others notice effects more gradually over months. The neuroprotective effects on disease progression take much longer to become apparent, typically many months to years. This is why consistency is so important. You are playing the long game here, investing in brain protection that pays dividends over time. Fourth, is natto safe for everyone with Parkinson's disease? While natto is generally safe, there are some situations where caution is needed. As mentioned earlier, people on blood thinners need medical supervision. People with soy allergies should obviously avoid natto. People with thyroid conditions should be aware that soy can interfere with thyroid hormone absorption and should time their thyroid medication away from soy consumption. And people with kidney disease should consult their doctor as natto is high in potassium and protein. For the majority of people with Parkinson's disease, natto is safe and potentially very beneficial. Fifth, where can I buy natto and how much does it cost? Natto is widely available at Asian grocery stores, particularly Japanese and Korean markets. It is typically found in the refrigerated section and comes in small styrofoam packages containing 1 to 3 servings. Prices vary but generally range from $2 to $4 per package, making it quite affordable. You can also purchase frozen natto online from various retailers and have it shipped to your home. Some health food stores in larger cities now carry natto due to growing interest in fermented foods. If you live in an area without access to Asian grocers, online ordering is a convenient option. Sixth, can I make my own natto at home? Yes, making natto at home is possible and can be even more cost-effective than buying it. You need soybeans, natto starter culture, which contains Bacillus subtilis, and a way to maintain a warm temperature of around 100 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 24 hours. Some people use an instant pot, dehydrator, or oven with the light on to maintain the temperature. There are many detailed tutorials online for home natto making. While it requires some initial learning and equipment, many of my patients who consume natto regularly have successfully transitioned to making their own. Seventh, are there any other fermented soy foods that provide similar benefits? While other fermented soy products like tempeh, miso, and soy sauce provide beneficial probiotics and nutrients, they do not contain nattokinase. Nattokinase is unique to natto because of the specific Bacillus subtilis bacteria used in its fermentation. Tempeh is fermented with Rhizopus mold, and miso uses Aspergillus oryzae. Different microorganisms create different enzymes and compounds, so while these other fermented soy foods are healthy, they do not offer the same neuroprotective effects we see with natto. What about people who follow low-protein diets for medication optimization? This is an excellent question that relates back to the protein timing strategies we discussed in previous videos. If you are redistributing your protein to avoid interference with levodopa absorption, you can easily include natto at your high-protein meal. Typically dinner, a 100-gram serving of natto contains about 17 grams of protein, which fits well into an evening meal that includes 40 to 60 grams of total protein. Alternatively, if you prefer to have your highest protein intake at breakfast and keep lunch and dinner lower in protein, you can include natto as part of your breakfast. Just remember to time your morning medication at least 1 hour before eating. Ninth, are there any medication interactions I should know about? Besides blood thinners, natto contains vitamin K2, which can theoretically interact with any medication that affects blood clotting. This primarily means warfarin, as mentioned earlier, but also includes some antibiotics and cholesterol-lowering medications. The nattokinase enzyme itself does not have significant interactions with common Parkinson's medications like levodopa, dopamine agonists, MAO-B inhibitors, or KOMT inhibitors. However, always inform your healthcare providers about any supplements or significant dietary changes you make, so they can monitor for potential interactions. 10th, what about the sodium content in natto? Plain natto itself is quite low in sodium. However, natto is typically eaten with soy sauce, which is high in sodium. If you are watching your sodium intake due to high blood pressure or other health concerns, you can use low-sodium soy sauce, skip the soy sauce entirely, or use other flavorings like lemon juice, rice vinegar, or herbs. the natto will still provide all of its neuroprotective benefits regardless of how you season it. Before we wrap up, let me give you a simple action plan for starting your natto journey this week. Step 1. Locate a source for natto. Visit an Asian grocery store or search online for natto delivery. Purchase 2 to 3 small packages to start. 2. Plan your first tasting. Choose a morning when you are relaxed and have time to prepare a proper Japanese-style breakfast. Cook a bowl of white rice. This is essential for your first attempt. Prepare your natto by stirring it vigorously about 50 times with chopsticks or a fork. This creates the characteristic stringiness. Step 3. Start small. Place just 1 teaspoon of natto on top of your rice. Add the included soy sauce and mustard packets. Mix everything together and take your first bite. Step 4. Repeat daily for 1 week. Even if the first taste is challenging, stick with it for at least 7 days before deciding whether to continue. Many people find that the taste grows on them surprisingly quickly. Step 5. Gradually increase the amount each week until you reach a full serving. Track how you feel, noting any changes in energy, digestion, or symptom patterns. Step 6. Commit to at least 3 months of consistent daily consumption before evaluating results. Remember that neuroprotection is a long-term strategy. Short-term trials will not show the full benefits. Step 7. Share your experience with your neurologist at your next appointment. Help educate your medical team about the research and your personal experience. This is especially important by working together with your neurologist and keeping them informed about dietary strategies you are trying. You ensure comprehensive care that addresses all aspects of your health. Natto represents a fascinating intersection of traditional food wisdom and modern neuroscience. For over 1,000 years, Japanese people have been eating this fermented soybean dish, never knowing that it contained powerful enzymes and nutrients that protect brain health. Now science is catching up, revealing the mechanisms behind these traditional benefits. While we need larger and longer-term studies to fully understand natto's effects on Parkinson's disease, the research we have is genuinely exciting and offers real hope for slowing disease progression. If this video has opened your eyes to the potential of natto as a neuroprotective food for Parkinson's disease, I invite you to join our growing community here at Beyond Parkinson. Living with Parkinson's requires a comprehensive approach that includes medication, exercise, stress management, sleep optimization, and nutrition. No single intervention is a magic bullet, but when you stack multiple evidence-based strategies together, you create a powerful foundation for maintaining function and quality of life for as long as possible. By subscribing to Beyond Parkinson, you will receive weekly videos exploring every aspect of living better with this condition. From cutting-edge research on new treatments to practical tips for daily challenges, from exercise techniques that improve balance and flexibility to nutritional strategies that support brain health, our goal is to empower you with knowledge so you can make informed decisions about your care and take an active role in managing your health. To subscribe, click the button below this video and then click the bell icon to receive notifications when we post new content. Join thousands of others who are committed to not just living with Parkinson's but thriving despite it. Remember that you are not alone on this journey. Every small step you take toward better health matters. Whether that is trying a new food like natto, adjusting your exercise routine, optimizing your medication timing, or simply learning more about your condition, each of these steps adds up to significant improvements over time. Please share this video with anyone you know who is living with Parkinson's disease or caring for someone with the condition. Information about natto and its neuroprotective properties is not widely known, and sharing this knowledge could genuinely help someone slow their disease progression and maintain better function for longer. Before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Parkinson's disease research is advancing rapidly, and we are learning more every year about how nutrition, lifestyle, and environmental factors influence disease progression. Staying informed about these developments and being willing to try evidence-based strategies gives you power and agency in managing your condition. Natto may seem like a small thing, just a simple breakfast food, but when you understand the science behind how it protects your brain, when you commit to consuming it consistently, and when you combine it with other healthy strategies, it becomes part of a comprehensive approach that can make a real difference in your long-term outcomes. Take care of yourself. Be patient with the process of acquiring the taste for natto if you choose to try it. Celebrate the small victories along the way, and know that better days are possible when you arm yourself with knowledge, and take action. I look forward to seeing you in our next video where we will continue exploring strategies for living well with Parkinson's disease. Until then, stay strong, stay informed, and keep moving forward in your journey toward better health.